Are we live? All right, this is another podcast for Aromatic Fragrances International, and we have a new special guest. We have brought in another body in the media,
Oh man, live with AFI, and who do we have here today?
the new prey.
You guys got Hanzala. I'm in the media department.
Okay, Hanzala. Round of applause for Hanzala. Well, we call him Hanz. What up, Hanz? How you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
You a little nervous?
Can't complain.
Tiny bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first time you're doing the podcast?
Yeah, for sure.
Don't worry, me too.
Really? That's
No.
cool.
How do you feel today? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a
Stressful
good
day?
Kinda, a little bit.
What they got you doing today?
Just the same old interactions, interacting with the people, keeping an eye on the numbers, keeping up the website up to date. Just the
Okay.
same old stuff.
I like that.
All right, so what we like to do is no one from the industry has background. Like fragrances are so odd. It's
Right.
just such a small segment. So where are you actually coming from before you started working at AFI?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. I'm an engineering and pre-med major. So this was nothing related to anything that I do. I just came in with a friend, and he wanted to talk to German, and I just came along with him just to check the company out because he was telling me about it. And then I ended up talking to German, and he was telling me about he has this position for marketing and media, and I was thinking, like, that's not my forte. That's not something I do. Until he mentioned analytics, and I love numbers. As soon as I heard about analytics, I
Okay,
was
well,
like,
hold on. Let me step this back. So this actually was one of the weirdest interviews
Yeah, it was.
that had actually happened within the company.
Yep.
And for me, I've interviewed hundreds of people, so this was very odd for me. So we interviewed this kid, and it wasn't Hanz. And basically, what had happened was an employee in the company said, "Hey, I have an open position. Do you guys have an open position within the company for anything?"
right.
And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She goes, "Well, my son's kind of in between jobs, and I'm just trying to keep him busy. Would you be interested in interviewing?" Right? So this kid comes in, and he was very bright, very energetic, and
Very likable too.
yeah, I mean, he all around great guy. But what's weird is I can usually kind of sum somebody up and figure out where they're coming from, where they want to be, what they want to do, and can kind of help them with that.
Right.
And no matter what angle I came through on this guy, I
Your
was
boy
like,
was everywhere.
well, what do you want to do? Well, I want to own my own business. I said, that's wonderful. Well, what type of business do you want? Any. I said, well, you can't just have any. Like, you have to have an interest in a company to run a company. So what do you have interest in? Well, running a company. Well, do you like the business side of it? Do you like the sales side of it? I can do all of it. I said, that's great. So what do you want to sell? Well, product. I said, what type of product? Well, it could be anything. I mean, I could not get him grounded. And then he was like, I like real estate. I want to do investments. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I could never zero him in, right?
Right.
And I said, you know what? You have so much energy. I'm interested. Let me see what I can do. I'm gonna have you interview with German because German was out. And I said, why don't you come back, have a conversation with him, and we'll go from there. And he goes, look, if you guys need somebody for media and you need someone for analytics and numbers, I got this great guy for you, right? He goes, I'd love to say that I'll come work for you guys, but in 30 days, I have plans to go work for another company, so I'm only going to be there for a small window anyways. This other guy is just spot on.
Which I didn't even know that part. You didn't tell me that part.
This,
He was
this
gonna
is
do
how
that
the interview goes, right? And I'm just sitting there going, wait a minute. I'm bringing you in because your mom says you need a job.
Right.
You're telling me that, yeah, this is great, but you honestly have another guy that would be perfect for this job. And, hey, can I set the interview up for him to come back and take a look at it, right?
Right.
So at this point, I had to go back out of town. I was doing some other stuff, and I ditched it off on German. And I said, how'd the interview go? He goes, man, they're both bright. But he's right. This other guy is completely analytics. He's definitely oriented exactly what we're looking for. And he says, I hired him. He starts tomorrow. And I was like, wow, it really worked out that way. And that's how it went. So,
That's
you
how
know,
it went. Exactly, word for word. That's exactly it.
but I never had an interview come in where a guy could not like, I like working with animals. I want to be a vet.
Right.
I like working with older people. You know, I like customer service. I like talking with, like, people usually have some sort of
Right.
direction. The only direction that I got from this guy was I want to own a business and I want to sell stuff and be prosperous. And, you know, granted that works.
Right.
That's how a business
Yeah, yeah.
functions, correct?
Right.
But you kind of still have to have, like, I want to be in sports equipment. I want to be in candles. I want to sell clothing. You know, you have to have some sort of.
Right.
No, didn't matter. I said, okay. So the only thing you're really missing right now is capital. So you just need money, right? And he goes, well, exactly. I said, okay. So hustle for a year or two, bank up some money. $1 makes $2, $100 makes $1,000,
Right.
and then you get some money up, and then you can start, you know, whatever venture you want to get into. Yeah. I ain't got time for that. In a month, I'm doing this.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, that was funny. Cause it's funny. So what did he tell you to convince you to come here on Monday, or did he say, or like,
Yeah.
what was
How
the
did your
situation?
side of the conversation
Yeah.
go?
How did that go?
We were just hanging out, and he told me that how he got this little interview with a fragrance company. And
Yeah.
I didn't even know that there were fragrance companies. Like,
Of
I didn't
course,
even know
nobody
you make
does.
fragrances.
Yeah.
I thought they were pre-made or whatever. And he says, I'm going in tomorrow, man. I talked with this great guy, Josh, and he seemed so bright and had so many ideas, and we had such a nice conversation. So come with me. You might like it. I was like, I mean, do you need me there? It's an interview. He called you. He was like, no, I mentioned you, and it'll be fun. It'll be a good talk. So I was like, okay. And I just walked
So
in.
you came in blind too. You had no
Yeah.
clue what you were coming in
No,
for.
not even. I did not think even 0.01% that I would be working the next day.
Yeah.
Just came in to talk,
Right.
and then I guess
That's usually how we work.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we see somebody and we're like, oh, it's a good guy.
Yeah.
Can you start today?
Right,
Like,
right.
like what are you doing right now?
Yeah,
Have
exactly.
you had
But,
lunch?
Hey, I just clocked you in. Like,
Yeah, that's about
hey,
it.
so when you came in, your initial thoughts, like when you walked through the building, you was walking before you got to my office. What was you thinking about?
it was just astounding. Like, I didn't realize it was a fragrance company, and I was seeing all these bottles and 2 buildings and that kind of stuff. So I just walked in, and I mean, then I saw you, and I was like, oh, this is the guy I'm talking to. I mean, he mentioned a older-looking dude named Josh. Okay, I'm talking to him. So I just walked in and saw him, and then I guess we started talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was interviewing his friend,
Uh-huh.
and I'm asking him all the questions, and he's not saying a word. He's just like listening. He's like just kind of adding like his 2 cents, like little bit. He's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, social media? Yeah, I got social media. Like, oh, this. He didn't seem interested that much, but then I was like, yeah, man, but what I really need is someone to break down analytics to me. And he was like, whoop.
Yeah.
He was like, can I see it? And I was like, you interested? He was like, I like numbers. I was like, good, because I hate them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I showed him the analytics sheet. He figured it out. Like, well, it's not rocket science either.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to school to be an engineer,
right, yeah.
and medical surgeon, heart surgery, whatever he's going to be
Yeah, I'm
doing.
doing engineering
But so,
and pre-med.
yeah, so when he saw it, he was just like, oh, okay. And he was like, how'd you get this number? And I was like, well, I got it from here. And he was like, oh, and that's divided by, oh, okay, and the impression. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I could do this. And I was like, show me. And we went to the other room. He pulled it up. Never has gotten a Facebook analytics or never has done IG analytics. He figured it out right there and then. I was like, hey, so what are you doing tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
And he
yeah.
was like, well, I can't tomorrow. He was like, but I'm free Thursday. And I was like, you're hired. I was like, come on in. And but his friend was happy for him. He's like, all right, yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, his friend's going, 30 days, I'm out. I mean, I have
Yeah.
other stuff. I have plans. I have directions.
Oh, so
I
he-
have meetings. I'm with people in Atlanta. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know why my mom ditched me off here because
Yeah.
this is not where I'm going to
Yeah.
end up.
Yo.
Like, that's how
So Josh didn't tell me the 30-day thing. So I'm breaking it down, and like this interview went on for a while. 'Cause
Yeah, it
I was
was
trying to like understand him too. Like,
Oh, yeah, that is true. Because
Yeah.
you called me and you were like, what
Yeah.
do you mean he's only available for a
yeah,
month?
exactly. Yeah. So like finally after an hour, I was like, yeah, bro. I was like, look, you have so much. Same thing. I was like, dog, I like your spirits. And I was like, help us interact with our customers. Like, let them know that there's real people behind the name. And he was like, all right, cool, yeah, let's do it. He was like, I was like, it'll probably take you like 2 weeks to I was
Figure
like,
it out.
Yeah, I was like, because you
Yeah.
need to like understand our voice. Like, we have a voice, we have morals. And I started explaining everything we do, like how we go about things. He was like, so like, I was like, yeah, so like 2-3 weeks. And I was like, so in like 2-3 weeks, I'll give you the logins and everything. And then we can take it from there. He was like, then I'm only going to be able to do it for a week. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm going to Atlanta in 30
Yeah,
days.
this is temporary. Yeah, I'm in
And I was like, what? Like 30 days? I was like, bruh, I can't even hire you for a day. And I was like, you can't help me. And he was like, oh, I figured, but he lives here. And I was like, and he was like, analytics? And I was like, all right, bet, boom. And the attention shifts from him to him. But I mean, he worked out. Like, he's been working out. Like, and I'm glad your friend. Hey, shout out to you, man, for bringing Hanz through, man. And
Shout out to you.
Yeah, man.
I wouldn't have found this company.
Yeah,
without
and
you.
now he's over here. And then, so what was your job prior to this?
I worked at a Subway. I made sandwiches.
I think a lot of people, so you were, what do they call that? The sandwich artist.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
was. Okay. So, like, a lot of people,
You told me you weren't creative, man. You're an artist.
I guess
think it
so.
think it like an entry level job.
Right.
You know, they're like, oh, they hate to say where they started from.
Right.
Right. I started at McDonald's. Right. So from McDonald's, I did multiple other jobs, and then I got into the fragrance industry and so
Right.
on. Right. But each job, you learn something.
Yeah.
Right. So I like people that actually have restaurant background.
Right.
Because how long do you have to please the customer?
Yeah.
What, about 15 seconds? So if you're not smiling, hey, can I help you? Can I this? Can I that? They're instantly pissed off, and it starts going downhill right
Yep.
after that, right? So I love people that have restaurant background. I mean, honestly, that should be like a requirement when I look at people's resumes, you know. And a lot of people will take it off, you know, as they get older. They're like, oh,
Right.
yeah, I'm not putting my beginning jobs, and I was here for 5 years, so I'm not putting the 6 months that I was at, you know, McDonald's or Arby's or whatever it is. But it's good to see that. You know, and I think a lot of people overstep that, you know, you have to do your due
Right.
diligence, you know.
Right.
Well, I didn't
So-
think about it like that when you said, yeah, you only got a couple seconds, so please.
Well, my other thing is you also have to serve, right? So, I mean, if you've never bagged groceries, then somebody has to bag the groceries,
Right.
right? So everybody should kind of have to do a little bit of these jobs as they grow older, just as kind of like part of passing through life.
Right.
And I think when a lot of people don't do those, that's where they don't respect them. You know, the people at the drive-thru, like, oh, it's ridiculous. She didn't give me a straw. Psh, ah. And you're like, she just served 60 customers
Right.
in the last 45 minutes, and you're mad you didn't get a straw?
Right.
Give me a break. But it's because they've never had that job.
Right.
So I think going through life and starting somewhere
Right.
helps.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Bagging groceries and having an old lady yell at you because you crushed your bread. You know, I mean, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I mean, I bagged at Publix. I've done all those, right?
I love Publix.
But it's the process,
Right.
right? And I think a lot of people nowadays are like, oh, I'm too good to do this, I'm too good to do that, and they just kind of like, oh, I'm going to get a career and get 60 grand a year and this
Right.
that, and they don't succeed because they didn't go through the whole
Yeah.
process. And
They
to me,
ain't get
it's
it
like
out the mud.
Yeah.
they got robbed.
Right.
You know, you should understand like how things work out, and if you haven't done it, you don't know.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I'm thankful for my dad. He made me start working early.
Yeah.
So I knew the value of $1 early.
Right.
11 years old.
Oh yeah.
Like real early.
All right. So you stumbled into the fragrance industry.
Right.
By accident.
Really,
But
by accident.
there's a purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everything has a meaning.
Yeah.
So before you started working here, where did you think fragrance came from?
I thought like people who made candles or perfumes just had fragrance in it. I thought they had some kind of chemical that they made and they just somehow had fragrance in it. Like I never put in the thought into it that there were companies making fragrance. That never crossed my mind.
Neither
Never.
did I, bro. Yeah.
So like your shampoo smelled like strawberry.
Right.
What did you think the strawberry came from?
I thought they just like
There were
took
strawberries in it.
Right. Yeah, I thought they took strawberries, somehow made up the scent and put it in.
I thought the same thing. That's why I'm asking.
Right.
You know,
But you're a medical major. You should know this, man.
on that side, you know.
No.
Okay, so now that you've kind of seen that the fragrances are made and put into products,
Right.
what's the most interesting thing that you've seen so far out of it?
Oh man, the process that goes into it. Like making fragrance is kind of hard. Even at our company, it's kind of a long process.
Yeah.
But the end result, like you take the fragrance and it just smells so good. Like you can smell what you're seeing, and that was kind of very interesting. And
I can see that.
Yeah, I interact with people on social media on behalf of the company, and some of the candles and soaps that I see that people take the fragrance and put into, man, some of them are gorgeous. Like I didn't think people could be so
now think about
beautiful.
So let's just say our industry wasn't here,
Right.
right? So they make a candle that looks exactly like a slice of watermelon.
Right.
And it's beautiful. You look at it, it looks like a slice of watermelon.
Right.
So you walk up to it and you smell it,
Smells like plastic.
and it smells like plastic or wax.
Yep.
Right? It loses so much.
Yep.
But now you
Definitely.
grab that thing and you pick it up and you go, that is the best smelling watermelon I've ever smelled.
Yep.
Right? And see, that's what helps on the marketing side. So I think you have to look at it from their point of view. They're trying to sell, right? So our customer's trying to sell a product. But our fragrance adds so much value to their product because now the consumer goes, wow, this is really something, right? It looks pretty, but it smells good too. Oh, I'm taking this home.
Yep.
You know
We
what I
got to
mean?
take them to the mart one time. You're gonna be like,
Yeah. We'll bring you down to the gift show in Atlanta. And it's kind of like where everything is sold for like, you know, Walmart and CVS's and the boutiques and all those places is where they go to buy their products. But it's so unique. I mean, some of the stuff down there that you see, it's just, it's amazing.
well, I mean, just like you said, it'd be like a slice of water, man. You're like, and it's a candle. You lift it. smells just like a watermelon.
Yeah.
Well, only if it's our fragrance.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, if
Right.
someone
Nah.
else's, it might not smell
Yeah,
quite. It
well,
might smell like old
nah.
rind or something.
He's lying. Look, this is what I didn't understand. The first time he took me to the mart,
Right.
he'll go up to these they're
Clients,
like stands,
customers, yeah.
That weren't even ours though. He'll go up to them and he'd be like, "Oh, this smells amazing." It's not even like our customers.
yeah.
He'd be like, "This smells amazing." He was like, "Yeah, if you guys are looking for any more fragrances, like, yeah, yo, here's my card." And then I left and I'm like, "Wouldn't you say this smells like trash? Try ours." And he's like, "One, I don't like to lie."
Right.
And he was like,
Yeah.
"Two,
If it's a good product, it's a good product.
He was like, "Two,
Yeah.
he's like, it smells good. I don't need to lie." He's like, "I don't need to talk our business up. They're
Right.
going to smell us."
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Just try my product.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
And then as soon as he said he's going to smell us, I was like, "What do you mean?"
That's how it works.
Yeah. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
No. It's great. But
And the thing is, you have to realize, you know, if you interacting with customers, we're here to fill a need,
Right.
right? So the customer has a good product, they're on the market, things are going well. It's not like they need us,
Yeah.
right? But now all of a sudden someone says, "Ooh, I'd like to have a mango papaya or mango mandarin, or I want some weird new thing."
Right.
Then that's when we can help them with it, right? But we don't need to help them with their existing product. If it's selling good and they're happy with their current supplier, we don't need to do anything.
Yep.
But if they have an issue, or maybe they're shipping late, they took a price increase, whatever problem, then we're just there to step in and help them when they have a need,
Right.
right?
which, by the
So-
way, we can't duplicate any scent, and then we have a 99.8% retainer keep. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Just throw that out
Yeah,
there.
I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, we could
So-
duplicate any scent. Just
So
let
the
them know.
biggest thing for like media and interacting with the customers is just to say, hey, if you ever have a need for fragrance,
Right.
we're open, we're available, we're decent guys, we'll help you out.
Yep.
That's really all media is. It's not like I go, hey, go out there, knock on the doors, and hey, you know, try to sell them this and try to sell them that. There's not a need. You just need to say, we're here, we're available, and if you ever need anything,
Right.
contact us.
And it's funny because
That's
Josh
it.
actually says, like, don't throw a sales pitch in your comment. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't need you guys to do that. Just show them that we're
Mm-hmm.
here, and if they're interested, they'll come knock on our door. Just let it be known that we're here. 'Cause
Right.
at first, when I first picked up the social
Oh,
media,
I brought in German. He's like, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff.
like,
It
yeah,
smells great. Buy
Yeah.
this, buy that. I was like, German, what are you doing?
like,
I don't need any of that.
yeah.
AFI's here. If even someone says, hey, I'm thinking about doing a candle company and I need fragrance, and it might be your friend or your mom or a relative or whatever. Hey, I've heard of this company called AFI. I've seen them on social media. You got to check them out.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's all you need.
You know,
Yeah.
that was the biggest thing that surprised me when I joined and he was giving me the breakdown of our strategy on social media.
Mm-hmm.
He literally told me, you don't need to do any sales pitch. Just go out there and see the product and appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate the creativity people are putting in. We don't throw sales pitches, and that's very positive.
Yeah. Well, you have to look. I mean, think about. I know there was one the other day that I was looking at, and it was like a cupcake, and this literally probably took this lady, I would say, 6 months
Right.
of coming up with the color scheme. The
Oh, it looked
molds,
real.
Yeah.
It looked real.
The sprinkles on the top, just coming up with the whole concept. And then she had to, of course, find a fragrance that worked, that threw good, and had a good cold throw and a hot throw, and her wicks worked, and her dyes worked. And, you know, that she could make this in a timely fashion to where it didn't take 6 months to make one cupcake candle that she's selling for $2. You know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
It was $6.
So you have to look at that stuff and be like, I understand that you spent all that R&D time.
Right.
I know that you had all this time and effort tied up in trying to find your suppliers and linking everything. That's a lot of work.
Yep.
So you're now trying to go out there and sell your product. Well, if we can help in any way,
Right.
you know, maybe we could showcase it on our website, get it out in front of a couple thousand people, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That's helping them out. We don't even need to sell them anything, right? But if we can just get them a little bit more visibility, then they start selling more, then they might reach back out to us. And if they don't, they didn't have a need, and there's no hard feelings, right?
Yeah.
It's just putting it out there, trying to help them out, which helps us out, and then it works. I think a lot of people are, you know, you have to get something in return on investment.
Right.
So I hired you, I have you doing something, so I got to at least make enough money to pay for your salary and da-da-da.
Right.
I don't really see it that way. I mean, honestly, we have a handful of accounts that really cover our overhead,
Right.
So that pays our bills. The rest of it, we just kind of have fun with,
Right.
right? So if we get a new account, great. If we can help somebody out, great. If we can do somebody a favor and, you know, they appreciate it, long term, that should pay out. It's just doing the right thing,
Yeah.
right? But I think a lot of people are like, oh no, you're just trying to get favors out there and pay it forward to where they circle back. If they don't ever have a need, they may never contact us again.
Right.
I'm not going to lose sleep over that. That's not going to affect us.
Right.
You know, I mean, we really look at it as 50% of the people that we help will probably never order from us. We may have a crafter contact us and say, hey, I'm running into this problem with a candle or with this. And, you know, we talk with them and they're going, yeah, I'll never buy 10 pounds.
Right.
Well, I don't really cut the conversation off right there. If I can still give them the information to help them, why not? It's only going to take us a couple of minutes where it would take them maybe an hour on Google to figure out the problem.
Right.
So stuff like that, that's really where we have to be at.
Yeah, but that's why I think it's easy. Not easy, but it's not. We don't have a. You have to make X amount by the end of the month. Or,
Yeah, we have no quotas.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
sales quotas. There's no, we have to have so many followers. There's no, you know, here's our marketing budget. You know, did you guys bring in 20%, you know, EBITDA? I mean, it's none of that stuff. We're not looking at that. We're looking at, is the company learning? Are the employees getting educated? Is some of our customers getting educated? And can we give as much information as possible?
Right.
That's it. That's key.
What do you think about the media department now that you work at a media department? Like,
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff we do. People don't. I didn't expect a media department for a fragrance company to be doing all this, but it's definitely fun. All the
Oh, yeah.
projects we have going on, like we're different. Like the kind of stuff we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting to be a part of.
Hanz came in probably like a couple days before we, or like a week before we did the carnival shoot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he
the
came
carnival.
in. Yeah, he came in, and it was at the end of the July giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
or like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So he had been here for a week. And then
And then his boss dressed up in a clown uniform and ran
Right.
outside.
And he sneaked in that Carolina Reaper.
and I
Oh,
put-
yeah,
but
the hot sauce and the hot
that
dogs.
was your welcoming in, man. Because I was like, all right, look, if he could take a joke on camera,
Yeah.
he'll be able to take a
He'll
joke off
survive it.
camera. Yeah, and then because you know we do a lot of not pranks, not heavy pranks, but we have fun. Like our
Right.
department has fun. We go around and I mean, because well, any department you can go into the lab and they're cracking up. You can go into
Right.
production and they're cracking up. You can go into customer service. They're not cracking up as much because they're always on the phone, but. You know, like they're having a good time. Everybody's having a good time, and the
Definitely.
fact that we portray that and we show the world, like this is to me, this is well. Granted, I've only had a couple real jobs, but this is the best job
Yeah.
I've ever had because it doesn't feel like one.
For sure.
Doesn't mean
Agree
cut.
with that.
Doesn't mean cut my pay.
Yeah,
That doesn't-
right.
that doesn't- that's
We're
not
going
what
to a
that means. Yeah,
nonprofit.
exactly. Yeah. And he's like, "Will it still be funny with nonprofit? I don't know if I can pay my mortgage like that." But nah, yeah. But I mean, I've never even asked you. So like, is it what you thought it was gonna be or not at all?
No.
When I told you, hey, come in on Thursday, were you like,
Yeah, I was like, okay, I mean, I'll give it a try. I probably
Yeah,
going
you'll
to
pay
be-
me money. I'll show up.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Probably going to be a little boring. I'll just sit there and be doing data all day. I mean, I like numbers, but that's what I was expecting, that it would be just data all day. But then I came in, and first day we had a video where we were going around interacting with all our employees. It was very fun. And then you shot me with the carnival. That was a really fun idea.
oh yeah.
I probably wouldn't be able to be a part of something like that in 99% of other companies.
Right.
Yeah.
Eating Carolina Reaper. That was a good experience. I'm going to remember that.
Well, that was your first meeting you ever had with us, huh? Like that when I was like, hey, come on, we're gonna have a meeting. You were like, what? A meeting
Yeah,
about what? And we
yeah.
came in, I was like, all right, so we're doing a giveaway.
Right.
So how we gonna reveal the winner? And you were like, well, doesn't the program do it for you? I was like, yeah, but that's boring, Hanz. We
Right.
can't do that. He's like, oh, okay. And then we
Yeah.
started talking, and then we were like, well, what about a carnival? And it was funny. We came up with the carnival. We all liked it.
Yeah.
And then Josh wasn't here, so we called him on speaker, and I was like, yo, Josh, what about a carnival idea? Yep, love it. All right, bye. What?
That's
I was
about
like-
it.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
all right, cool.
That's
He's like,
another fun thing that I'm liking about the media department that I wasn't expecting. We just come up with ideas like this, and you come up with an idea within the next 10, 15 minutes, we have a plan for it. Within the next 30 minutes, we have it approved by you, and we're ready to do it.
Right.
We're always coming up with ideas.
Well, I
and
think
doing
that's
fun
the
stuff.
good. I think that's the good thing about a small company.
Agreed.
Because if it was
Yeah,
like,
there's no red tape. There's
Yeah.
no, I got to wait for approval.
Yeah,
I'm
there
waiting
was-
for, will this work? Will that work? Who are we going to offend?
Right.
Who,
well,
none of
you're the approval, so I just got to shoot you a text. Yo, check the data. All right, cool. Yeah,
that. Yeah,
approved.
I have a panel of about 3 or 4 people that I run stuff through. If to me it's questionable, and if they come back and go, oh yeah, I think you're going to have some lawyers involved on that one, Those are the only ones we scrapped, which there hadn't been that many.
Yeah.
I mean, just some of you just like, yeah, all right, maybe not going to go.
Well, there
that
was
route.
one that I really like we're not going to talk about, but I put in like 4 days of editing. Like, I shot it, edited, shot it to him. He was like, we can't because of X reason.
Right.
And then it made sense, and I looked into it, and I was like, dang, we can't use it. That kind of crushed me. I was like, man, 4 days of editing.
Comes, it goes.
He was like, but I was like, all right, whatever. It is what it is. But look, I'm going to say it in front of Josh, in front of people behind these cameras. I appreciate your hard work. I appreciate your willingness to know. I mean, you're willing to learn something that you're probably not going to know, I mean, not be interested in 5 years. But the fact that you're here, like if you was, Josh has this thing about a lifer contract.
Yeah.
It's like 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, or for life. And even though I know you're not going to be here for life, I know it.
Yeah.
You keep saying that, but I think you're playing with my emotions. Don't play with
Yeah,
me.
I know. All right, so that actually got me sitting here thinking. So, okay, so you came in, you've only been here a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, to me, summing you up, 1 year, 5 year, or a lifer, right? I know you're going to college, and you definitely have goals and ambitions and things that you're hitting that way.
Right.
So, I would say, to me, I would probably put you at a 5 year.
A 5
Right.
year, yeah.
Now, with me saying that, that's just thinking out of the box and just my opinion.
Right.
So, where do you think you'll end up within the company?
Probably, yeah, I would say. I would love to continue to be a part of the media department.
Yep.
And yeah, I think that's a good estimation.
Because, I mean, you're engineering and pre-med,
yeah.
right?
So it's probably going to get hectic.
So, out of those two, which one do you think you're going to end up? Are you trying for engineering or are you trying for med?
So for medical school, you can do any kind of bachelor's you want. You just need certain prerequisite classes.
Yep.
So for my bachelor's, I'm probably going to do engineering and then go for med school after that.
So, and you're going for
Brain
heart
surgery.
doctor, brain
Surgery.
surgeon.
Surgery, hopefully either a neurosurgeon or cardio, the heart one. Because those two things interest me a lot.
Man,
Well, then
that's
you
some
could.
serious stuff.
I know.
So over the last probably 3.5 years, so I had a migraine that lasted like 6 months, right?
Mhm.
And it got so bad, like it was totally shutting me down.
Right.
And I had to go to a neurologist, and they did the MRI and the CT
Right.
scans and all that stuff. And
Wait, is neurologist for the brain or the heart?
brain,
Brain.
Oh, okay. And what's the heart one called?
cardiologist.
Oh, yeah, cardio. Yeah, cardio.
So they ended up giving me steroids and a couple different drugs, and then it stopped,
Right.
and then I got off all the other drugs, and then I was good, right?
Right.
So I think it was really more stress-induced, and I was trying to avoid wearing glasses. So the combination of the two,
Right.
I think, was just overworking my brain, and
That's how it was.
it really was bad. I mean, honestly, he was like, well, your vision's not that great, so that's causing some of your problems.
Headaches, yeah.
And then, you have family and kids and running that, and then you got your own business, and, you're working extreme hours, you're not getting enough sleep. He's like, da, da, da.
Your youngest son is ugly.
Yeah. So between the combination of stuff, I think it was like a lot that was building up, right?
Right.
So the neurologist took care of me. I'm good. Haven't had to go back to it. So then about a year ago, I started having like heart problems, right? So I went to cardiologist.
Dang.
And they did a stress test. Came out I had Wolff-Parkin's-White syndrome, which is just some weird side effect.
Oh, now you're interested in the podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
So then, I failed the stress test. They went in for an ablation.
Right.
Wait, hold on.
the
Hold on.
whole
What's the
scenario.
stress test? I mean, what does that consist of?
A stress test is basically let's get your body to wig out to the most extreme that it possibly can, right? So they can do it two ways. It's either one, they can do it chemically, so they inject something into your system and it makes it freak out and it makes your heart rate go through the roof, and that's stressing your body to stress your system.
You
right?
see, this is where like the Avenger movies and like these crazy that
Yeah,
the
think of it as
villain-
like an injective adrenaline.
That's what I'm
Kind of
saying.
like the same thing.
The
right?
villains are created because of scientists like this trying to inject me with something.
Yeah.
I'm
The
good.
second way is they throw you on a treadmill and then just run you like a dog until you basically pass out.
So which one you do?
I did the chemical,
Oh.
right? And the reason why is because
You didn't want to run on the treadmill. I know why.
I really don't even know why. My doctor, lady goes, well, which one are you getting? Are you getting the chemically induced or are you doing the treadmill? I said, I don't know. She goes, oh, let me check your paperwork. Oh, you're chemically induced. I said, oh, okay. So I sat in the chair and literally they did an injection. And then lady was like, okay, move your arms, move your legs. And then my heart rate just like went through the roof, right?
What'd you feel?
I could feel my heart fluttering. I could feel my heart rate was really high, right? But I didn't get nervous until like she walked out and like grabbed 2 more nurses and they came in and then they're all like monitoring me and they're checking the thing. She's like, does your heart normally just go really high and almost, just keep fluttering? And I was like, no. She's like, well, you did this time. And I was like, yeah, I kind of felt that. She's like, no, you're good. We're just going to monitor you. Everything's good. So I go back out in the waiting room and I'm there for like an hour and they keep monitoring me.
Oh, but how long did that last, Dutch?
A couple minutes. It just, they peak you and then it comes back down.
But like, did you feel out of breath? That's weird.
Well, I mean, literally, you're like you can feel like you're like you just ran a marathon is what it feels like. Your heart's like right, and they checked me this, that, and the other, and then I said, oh, okay, so we're good. And she goes, oh no, you're not good. Here you're going to a cardiologist. You have this issue and this problem, and they had to do EKG and all this other stuff. And what ended up happening was they did an ablation that kind of fixed the Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome and so on. So I mean, like what you're doing is like major stuff is what I'm trying to get at. So neurologists, the brain is the most sophisticated part of the body, right? Yeah. So I mean, trying to track the electrons and neurons and all that. And then all of a sudden you have the heart, the engine of the body, and you're like, oh yeah, I want to work on both of them. I mean, honestly, the thought of that to me is probably the worst job I could possibly have, right? That's what I mean. I mean, like that. So, like fragrances, right? I mean, like, what's the worst thing that we're going to make a room smell bad, right? It's going to be like it's just not as sweet as I thought it was, or it's not as floral as I like. We're not CDC. We're not, the government. I mean, literally, it's fragrance, right?
Even though today they were QCing that sewer fragrance. Oh man, that smells so bad.
Oh yeah.
That smells so bad.
So we have a customer, and they do all these extreme, it's a sensory company. So, like, when you go into a dinosaur movie, they have, like, rotting flesh and dinosaur teeth.
And we make those fragrances.
And all this other stuff. I mean, some of the stuff is just, it's just horrible. I mean, it's just horrible. So they're working on those at the moment.
We need to do, like, once we become, like, a $100 million company, we need a separate QC building for just the stank ones because... Yeah.
Fragrance is fragrance.
That one smells so bad.
Coffee fragrances, they smell so nice, but when we make them,
yeah.
Peaches, it smells like cat pee.
Yeah,
but
it does.
It smells so great.
Right.
I mean, it's
fragrance. I never knew. Yeah, when I went, I love coffee. I'm a coffee connoisseur, I would say. But when I went back, then they were like, oh, we're making coffee because they know I like coffee. They're like, go take a whiff out the batch. Nah. I mean, because it was a pre-batch.
There's a ingredient called, it's Furfumer Captain, and it is so strong, like literally you can open the cap and be 100 yards away.
You smell it.
And instantly you smell it. And it's almost like you taste it. It's so strong. And I remember the first time I used that stuff, and literally another guy had used it, and he was on the other side of the warehouse, and we're talking, 100 yards. And he just opens the cap, and I could smell it. And I was sitting there thinking, this is how viruses transport. Like a guy sneezes on the other side of a football field, and I'm breathing it.
Right.
I was just like, I had no idea. Right. But when I could smell it, I just knew if I could smell it, it's the same thing as getting a virus. Right. And I was like, wow, that's really how that stuff happens.
But luckily, we have a future med doctor here, so if anything ever happens to us, Hanz, I'm not feeling too good. All right, fly to England. All right, I'm on
pro bono, right?
Yeah, pro bono. Hey, do doctors have to do those?
Do what?
Pro bonos?
I mean, if they want.
But they don't have to.
No.
But lawyers have to, right? Or they don't have
to? Once a doctor goes through all of his schooling, he has to do a certain amount of time, like
a residency.
Residency is what it was. What I was trying to think of. Yeah.
So it's a long road, like 4 years of school and then 5 years of just training, just residency. You work, but you're training.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be like 10 years from now.
I mean, I still.
So are you trying to think of when you need to hit them up for money? Yeah. It's probably 10 to 15 years.
Yeah. I'm like, when am I gonna need like 50 bands? 50
but when can I call you and you got more than $1,000?
Right. When can I call 10, you? Oh look how humble Hanz is. So we get paid bi-weekly, and his first paycheck he had only got paid like a week and a half, right?
Yeah,
something like that. Like, it wasn't like a full. And he got paid to hit his bank account. He came that morning. He was like, hey, I got paid. I was like, oh, that's what's up. He was like, bro, wherever you guys want to go out to eat, man, it's on me. This is like my first real paycheck. And he was like so appreciative. But I was like, Hanz, we about to go to eat, and we gonna blow your paycheck, man. I was like, nah, we good, man. I was like, let's go out to eat, and I'm gonna make Josh pay.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah,
That's
hey,
good.
well, welcome on board, man. We appreciate you here, and we're gonna take advantage of the 5 years that you're gonna be with us. We gonna make sure. When else am I gonna be able to say, yo, I had a med student under me? Like that's crazy. You making me look good.
Especially med and engineering.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like when I told the rest of the guys that, they was like, I was like, yo, he's going to engineer. I mean, he's going to school for engineering. He's like, wow. I was like, yeah, that's what's up, man. And medical. What? What is he doing here? We're like, man, he's just trying to save the world one step
Well,
at
you
a
have
time.
to think, when the robots take over,
Yeah.
what jobs can the robots not do, right?
Save lives.
Medical's pretty solid,
Right.
Man,
you
you
know.
smart, bro.
Yeah.
And now think about it. I will do surgery for you, and if you want, I can make you smell good. Fragrances
Hey.
from AFI.
Yeah, or maybe you can do it. You know how like when we sweat, sometimes it kind of smell like some people got bad BO.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a way we can like inject.
Wait a minute. So he's a pre-med, so he can figure out how to make deodorant.
Yeah.
No, I think he can do a little
No.
better than that.
Oh yeah, no. What I'm saying is put fragrance in the blood or in the so when we sweat, we smell like flowers. You know how people say like, oh, when I fart, I smell like flowers as a joke.
Yeah.
What if we could actually do that?
Hey, who knows? This could be our next big.
Oh, good. Now we want to get into genetics. No, let's stay away from that. The pharmaceutical industry's done enough.
All right, yo, Hanz, man, we appreciate you being here, man. Like I think you're a very good addition to the team, and you balancing out because you kind of are. Me and Adam are more like we get excited fast, like yeah. You're like, well, scientifically that doesn't make sense. So
I
I
get
think
it.
I think it's a good balance right now that we're on the media team. I mean it feels
Agreed.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
It feels
I
good.
really appreciate the work,
Yeah.
guys.
Nah, man,
It's been an awesome experience, even though just 3 weeks. It's so much fun to be a part of this media team.
Very good.
Is there anything you got from working here that you wasn't expecting to get? Just before we close out, like, is there something? Just so we know how we're operating. Like, I mean, I'm just wondering, is there something that you
Just
got?
Getting the experience of interacting with so many people that work here. I definitely didn't have that experience before. Just coming into work early in the morning and going around and interacting with other employees and see how their day is going on. I've never done that before. My other job, it was 2 of us, and we would serve customers, and that's it.
Yeah.
So this is a good experience, definitely.
That's cool, man. All right, man. Again, thanks for being AFI for life.
Hopefully,
No, for life.
for life.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
All right, man.
No talent. Life's so short.
Yeah, I know it is. Like AFI for life. Hey, what happened to German? Oh, he died.
Yeah.
Like, dang. So I mean, so he was AFI for life.
Yeah. you never
I wonder
know.
who will be the first AFI. Let's not even talk about
Yeah,
that.
let's
All
not
right,
even go there.
all right.
Yeah, there we go.
So anyways, and we out live with AFI.
Has anybody seen Josh?